afternoon. You're watching India Today with me, Nabila Jamal. I'm going to take you through the roundup of all the COVID stories along the southern states which are seeing a surge. Let me first start with here, Chennai. We're still looking at COVID deaths there, thronging a hospital just to buy remdesivir injections. Here's a visual that's coming in from Chennai, where we see COVIDiates there thronging the Chennai hospital only to procure the remdesivir drug. A huge gathering that can be seen right outside Kilpauk Medical College. Despite the lockdown, social distancing norms went for a complete toss while people are seen standing in long queues. And remember, this is not the first time. Just yesterday, two similar sites, and yet doesn't seem like the authorities have cracked down. All right, now let me quickly cut across to Andhra Pradesh. While we see that the nation is struggling to get the vaccine jab, we're looking at vaccine politics that's now erupted in Andhra Pradesh. Now, Jagan Mohan Reddy has claimed or has alleged that Bharat Biotech, which is rolling out the huge consignments or huge productions of Covaxin vaccine, Jagan Mohan Reddy is making allegations that Bharat Biotech has had links with former Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu, and nobody knows what is really happening to the vaccination manufacturing plants of Bharat Biotech. Jagan further alleges that the supply of jabs is being hampered. Now, the Andhra Chief Minister Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy has also written to the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Jagan has now sought technology transfer of Bharat Biotech and the ICMR NIV that's developed Covaxin to ramp up production. He's also proposed that the viral strain should be transferred to pharma companies interested in manufacturing the Covaxin.
ఇంకా ఆశ్చర్యం ఏంటంటే ఈ భారత్ బయోటెక్ అన్నది ఎవరిది అని అంటే సాక్షాత్తు ఈ చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు గారి బంధువుది, సాక్షాత్తు రామోజీరావు గారి కొడుకు వియంకుడిది. సో అక్కడ ఏం జరుగుతూ ఉంది అన్న సంగతి అందరికీ తెలుసు. మళ్ళీ వ్యాక్సిన్ కంపెనీలు, ఇదే రామోజీరావు గారి కొడుకు వియంకుడిది కంపెనీ. ఏం జరుగుతూ ఉందో తనకు తెలుసు, చంద్రబాబు నాయుడుకి తెలుసు, తన బంధువులే కంపెనీ. అయినా కూడా వక్రీకరించే దానికోసం
how can a chief minister of a state attach a caste to the owner of to a vaccine company like Bharat Biotech? So it is absolutely ridiculous. We condemn it very strongly. It is only to divert the people's attention from his failures that Jagan Reddy had stooped down to such a low level.
Right, let me quickly cut across to Ashish joining us for more details on this. Ashish, what a shame. We're looking at vaccine politics that's now erupted, but is there any depth to what Jagan Mohan Reddy has said? He said Bharat Biotech has some connection with Chandrababu Naidu and therefore they're trying to, sort of keep the entire process or manufacturing an entire secret here or not giving enough amounts to Andhra Pradesh government. What's the real story, if you can take us through?
So Bharat Biotech is a reputed company, Nabila, and all know that it has earned its name and fame with its long effort working in country as well as globally. Dr. Krishna Elai has recognition not only in India but in abroad also, and he has been known for his technologies and his inventions and his whole research. Now, this particular comment coming out from the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh has definitely triggered a political war of words between TDP, the opposition party, the principal opposition party of Andhra Pradesh, as well as ruling YSR Congress party. Remember, TDP is alleging that YS Jagan Mohan Reddy led government has failed, or somehow they are delaying to procure enough quantity or enough quantity of vaccine, and that's why the vaccination drive in Andhra Pradesh is low or significantly low. And that, reacting on that, in fact, YS Jagan Mohan Reddy, while holding a review meeting yesterday, he alleged that Bharat Biotech has a link and association with TDP chief and former Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu, and probably he hinted that probably because of that they are not getting enough vaccine supply. Meanwhile, YS Jagan Mohan Reddy, the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, has also written letter to Prime Minister suggesting him that government of India should consider technology transfer from Bharat Biotech to other companies, including ICMR. Remember, ICMR and NIV, two government of India owned companies are associated with Bharat Biotech in the development of co-vaccine. So clearly there is a politics, there is war of word, and the reality is that still in Andhra Pradesh vaccination is a big crisis.
Right.
State has less number of vaccination. Data shows that in fact people in Andhra Pradesh are not getting
Right.
enough quantity of enough vaccine there.
All right, well, this is not the time to play politics. It's about time to step up the vaccination drive. Andhra Pradesh is seeing a crunch. Let's hope this is sorted soon enough. Now, let me cut across to Bengaluru hospitals. We do know that government hospitals are jam-packed. You barely have any hospital beds at government hospitals. At a time like this, we see private hospitals trying to make a quick buck. Several private hospitals have been accused of looting patients and their families to the tune of lakhs of rupees, almost 1 lakh a day that they are charging for one hospital bed for a single day. And here patients running pillar to post have no other choice but to pay up, because on the BBMP portals it shows that these beds are available, but when patients rush to that hospital says that they don't have a single bed. But if they want to, then they can pay 1 lakh rupees and then get a bed. Government hospitals in Karnataka, Bengaluru, are running full. They're maxed out. What happens next? People are rushing to private hospitals to find a hospital bed. In fact, I'm right here at Saptagiri Hospital here, near Hesarghatta in Bengaluru. And here, the BBMP website says that there are about 300 odd beds that are vacant. But and even a bed is possibly allotted to a patient, a COVID patient. And when the family comes all the way, this is on the outskirts of Bengaluru, they come all the way to this super speciality hospital. And then they're told by the BBMP official right at the desk who's sitting inside that there is no bed available, not a single bed available. And the patient family is of course desperate, and they are now wanting to pay whatever it is, whatever it takes to get a bed. And that's when they ask for 1 lakh rupees for a room for a single day. That's the kind of money that private hospitals are allegedly charging. And we have patients claiming that Saptagiri is charging this kind of exorbitant prices. Now, whether the hospital itself, the management itself is involved in this, or it is just the managers or some officials who are possibly, or agents who are representing or who are dealing with some officials inside, we're not still sure, but this is the unfortunate state of affairs where hospitals are fleecing people in the name of a COVID bed. With camera person Pavan Kumar, this is Nabila Jamal for India Today. It's now well established that it's a nightmare to find a hospital bed in Bengaluru. I have with me Rahul Tadimala, who's experienced hell to get his loved one admitted to a proper hospital, get a hospital bed, and the whole process. Rahul, if you can break it down to us so that our viewers and people of Bengaluru, Karnataka understand really where are the weak links.
The fact that we're getting allotted beds at midnight and the beds getting unblocked at 5 o'clock means it's a 100% scam. What else can it be, right? And we are not even informed till 1 hour before the bed is unblocked that we actually have a bed. Secondly, BBMP keeps saying we'll call you back, we'll call you back. I got the war room guys' numbers. There are people who offered beds for 35,000 rupees from the BBMP. We've got calls claiming that she's from BBMP. How did she get our number? She could have only got it from the BBMP, right? So we've got calls that there are beds offered for 35,000. It's a free bed. We've also had other scams where people are offering ICU beds for blocking them for 2,000 rupees. So I hope all these people
Your number was, accessible to many hospitals who called you, hospitals or agents?
No, agents.
So agents called him, offering him beds at various hospitals for prices of up to 35,000 to all the way to 1 lakh.
Yes, and these agents are, they call saying they're from BBMP. And I believe they are, because they couldn't have got my number otherwise, right? My number's not there, and that was at the right time when a patient is sick. So that's why I think, the BBMP shouldn't be handling this anymore.
It's a complete nexus, and that's precisely what's been busted a few days ago. But unfortunately, it's a little too late. When we're seeing a flood of patients coming into hospitals at a time like this, extorting money from patients who are in desperate need is what we see, the sights of many hospitals, or the kind of trouble that people are facing on ground. Rahul is one of them.
Outside the emergency ward, you have a lot of agents there as well, ambulance drivers.
They're all walking around waiting to catch
waiting to catch and offering their sympathies and saying, hey, I have the XYZ hospital, why don't you take cash of 1 lakh, I'll try and get you a bed there.
This is disgusting. The Karnataka government is supposedly all hands on deck right now. They say that they're doing everything that they can to arrest these agents. Let's hope this nexus ends at the earliest. Lives are saved soon enough. With camera person Pawan Kumar, this is Nabila Jamal for India Today. All right, well, we see patients are struggling. Of course, we do know there are people stepping up and trying to help in this hour of need. Oxygen concentrators or oxygen cylinders, whatever help that's needed, people are now using the Ola cab service app to actually ferry those oxygen concentrators to the people in need. Nagarjun brings us this report.
Now you can book oxygen concentrators on Ola app as well. Today they're unveiling in coordination with the Karnataka government. Oxygen concentrators can be booked through Ola app. People will be delivered such state-of-the-art oxygen concentrator which has been imported by foreign countries to the people. Right now it's started in 2 areas in Bengaluru with 500 oxygen concentrators, that is Malleshwaram area, Kormangala area, where people can just go to the app. There is O2 concentrator booking and specialized drivers are booked through this, and they go to the resident's house or the patient's house, deliver the oxygen concentrator and also explain as to how it's managed, how it's mechanized, and there's a deposit that has to be placed, and once the oxygen concentrator is given back, the deposit is written. So technically this is free of cost in collaboration with Give India and Karnataka government is what Ola says. So such state-of-the-art oxygen concentrators will be delivered to patient's house readily if one books on the Ola app, and it started as a pilot project in Bengaluru and will be unveiled in India for the next few weeks. And the number that they're looking at, 10,000 oxygen concentrators, the more they get by foreign countries and some NGOs are donating, Ola is giving out right away is what they're saying. So in Bengaluru, Malleshwaram and Kormangala areas can go ahead and book the oxygen concentrator. Anyone who's in need, who has oxygen levels 94 and below, can depend on this app. Nagarjun Dwarkanath for India Today.
All right, I'm going to quickly cut across to some heart-wrenching visuals that came in from Gadag. A patient who was waiting for hours together outside the hospital nearly was about to lose his life before he got admitted. It's really heartbreaking to see that the patient was denied a hospital bed because the hospital was full, and he checked with several government hospitals. The family rushed to private hospitals eventually. None of them had a hospital. For 5 hours, he was almost left to die. Fortunately, he's now alive, is what we hear, but this situation has been brought to light. Nagarjun brings us this report. In fact, it was reported from the GIMS hospital in Gadag. This comes right after several private hospitals have denied him a bed. Nagarjun with more on that. Nagarjun, if you can take us through what exactly is the patient's health, what's the status like? Like I did mention a little earlier, private hospitals are saying no beds. Government hospitals are saying no beds. Where do patients go?
Well, Nabila, it's the same situation across Karnataka. Anyone who wants oxygen beds, it's difficult to find them at this point of time because there are absolutely no beds. People have already taken it up in a week in advance, 15 days in advance. What we are seeing is from Gadag, that is the Gadag Institute of Medical Science. Yesterday, a patient had gone there and waited for 6 hours before he got a bed. Before he came to GIMS, he had gone to several private hospitals in Gadag districts and there was no bed at all. Finally, he came to GIMS. Even there, he had to wait for 4 to 5 hours, and then somehow, miraculously, he did get the bed, but he's not doing well. It's critical because he was roaming around the hospital's twin ambulance, and that is where the health deteriorated. And that is not just one patient per se. Across Karnataka, we hear such cases where patients are roaming in ambulance from hospital to hospital, from emergency to emergency, unless they find a bed. It takes them 10 to 12 hours, and that is the situation today in Karnataka.
Nagarjun, thank you very much for joining us with those details. Now, we do know that the drug supplies of remdesivir, of course, apart from many other shortages of oxygen supply for that matter, be it even mask sanitizers, now it seems like many hospitals are facing a shortage. Remdesivir, which is really in need right now in Tamil Nadu. We see that black marketing has been thriving in Tamil Nadu, and as a result, just to curb black marketing, the state government has now ensured that you could probably access it through government hospitals. But this video has really left us shocked. As the government, state government of Tamil Nadu really tries to curb black marketing of remdesivir, a video of a government medical college staff involved in the illegal sale, reportedly, of the shot of COVID-19 patient's relative. In fact, the remdesivir drug they were trying to illegally sell, and it appears that a COVID-19 patient's relative has shot this video. In a set of these videos here, the government college medical staff in Madurai were seen keeping the remdesivir vials in a garbage disposal bag and then taking it into a storeroom and then leaving them inside in a dustbin. The patient's relative followed the staff member and then confronted him. The matter has now been probed by the police. That's how much it's now in demand, and we're seeing all kinds of black marketing of this drug here in Tamil Nadu. Pramod bringing us more on that.
இதுக்குள்ள எப்படி வந்துச்சு பொருள் இப்ப நான் டோக்கன் போட்டு வாங்கிருக்கேன். நீ யாரோ டோக்கன் போட்டு வாங்குறதுக்கு 5 பாக்ஸ் கொடுக்குறோம். நாங்கலாம் வந்து எங்க அம்மா கஷ்டப்படுறவங்க தான் சார். 3 நாளா கேட்டுக்கிருக்கேன் இந்த மருந்து. வெளிய வாங்க. 3 எப்படி சார் என்ன சார் செய்யுது? சேது வந்து உட்காருங்க. என்ன சொல்றீங்க வெளிய? வாங்கி எதுக்கு வைக்கிறீங்க?
Pramod, if you can take us through what exactly is happening there. Imagine how hungry people are to make a quick buck, that they're actually hoarding this life-saving drug, remdesivir, at a time of crisis like this. And COVID patients' relatives has shot this video where he's hoarding it in a garbage bag and taking it inside the hospital and hiding it, maybe selling it for a lot more.
Certainly, Nabila, the actual staff from that Madurai Government College did not have any kind of answer as to why he was tracking and carrying that remdesivir vials in a garbage disposal can. Because you could see over here, this is a location called Kilpaw Government Hospital where hundreds of people are gathering every day to get the remdesivir drug. Because in this place, you get one vial of remdesivir for 1,400 rupees, whereas in black market, it is being sold from 16,000 to 25,000 rupees per vial. So that's the reason it's turning out to be a very big issue. Hundreds of people gather here every day, and that's when the Tamil Nadu government went ahead and tried to open it up in 7 other districts. Now, the state claimed that they are trying to curb the black market sale of remdesivir, but shockingly, this video shot inside a Madurai government hospital has raised a lot of questions, and the patients, like angry and upset relatives, are seeking responsible answers from the government as well.
Right. Pramod, thank you very much for joining us with those details. Let's hope officials crack down on this black marketing of remdesivir at the earliest. Now, shifting focus to Kerala. Kerala now is going to be seeing one of the largest COVID care facilities that will come up in Kochi, which also has sufficient oxygen supply. This is going to be the largest in Kochi, is what is believed. In fact, almost 1,000 beds is going to be set up at that facility, 1,000 oxygen bed temporary treatment facility here in Kochi. According to Ernakulam District Collector S. Suhas, this will be the largest treatment facility in the country in terms of oxygen beds. Now, the facility is being set up at Ambalamukulam BPCL Refinery School. That's where it's going to be set up. It will be functional starting from tomorrow. The first round of interview for the medical staff to be deployed there has already been completed. And of course, now Kerala looking forward to this facility. All right, now we do know that amid this pandemic, we are seeing people step up and put in all their efforts to help people in need. At a time like this, people are coming forward to contribute in whatever way they can. I'm going to take you through these 2 videos that you see on your screens. The left one is from Tamil Nadu, where the police is busting fake news and spreading awareness with folk songs and drums in Rameshwaram. They're also wearing novel coronavirus-like helmets there, which was the first that it started off in Tamil Nadu itself. It's still very popular. And wearing those helmets, they're trying to enforce some discipline among those commuters. And then on your right of your screens here, again coming in from Chennai, with COVIDiots were seen thronging Chennai's hospitals to procure remdesivir drugs there. And huge gathering can be seen outside Kilpaw Medical College despite lockdown. Social distancing norms there thrown to the wind, and we're seeing all sorts of violations in place where the police trying to crack down as much as possible. Now, even as the coronavirus cases are surging, we are looking at COVID deaths on the prowl in Hyderabad's Charminar market. Once again, we see huge crowds, people coming forward to shop just ahead of Eid. And this is what's worrisome, right ahead of Eid al-Fitr festivities. Many people there seen flouting all the norms, social distancing, many of them not wearing their masks. This is absolutely shocking. Despite several alerts, we're looking at people showing irresponsible behavior that we see right there in Hyderabad's Charminar area.
This is Hyderabad's iconic Charminar market. Hundreds of people flooded the market for shopping. The shoppers swarmed the market ahead of Eid ul-Fitr festivities. The market was jam-packed, social distancing norms all but forgotten. Many did not even bother to wear a mask. The massive rush at Charminar market was witnessed just hours before Telangana went into a 10-day lockdown. A decision that has drawn flack from AIMIM chief and Hyderabad strongman Asaduddin Owaisi. Just last week, similar scenes were witnessed at Charminar, but no strict action was taken against those flouting COVID norms. As cases continue to surge, what will take for these COVIDiots to learn their lesson? With Ashish in Hyderabad, Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, Sunday was Mother's Day. All of us have really celebrated it with our families, of course, wishing our mothers wholeheartedly. But things could have been as joyful for Dimple Arora as well, if not for a tragedy that took place. In fact, here, COVID-19 has taken the life of Dimple Arora and her unborn child. The family spent the day remembering Dimple Arora. Ravish Chawla, who's the husband of Dimple, has tweeted a video of her along with a caption there. Even during her suffering, she warns others not to take COVID lightly and let their guard down. Very sad video that's come out, a dying declaration or a final word coming in from a mother, a pregnant mother who was on her deathbed. She asked, she was barely 7 months pregnant there and succumbed to the deadly virus on the 16th of April. And even in her last moments, when she was struggling to breathe, she's made a video there. And Dr. Arora wanted to convey this message. I'd like you to take a listen.
Hello everyone. ये वीडियो बना रही हूँ बहुत मुश्किल से. I really want to tell each and everyone जो मुझे जानता है, please don't take corona so lightly. Very bad symptoms. I am not able to speak, but I really want to convey my message to all. Please wear mask whenever you go outside, whenever you interact with people. Either it is outside, either at home, for your near one and dear one's safety. I really pray ये condition किसी की भी ना हो. And especially during my pregnancy, I really don't want किसी को भी ये symptoms आए. Please tell your family members, don't take it so lightly. Please irresponsible मत हो. अपने अपने मास्क पहन के बाहर निकलो. अगर आपको किसी से मिलना है, किसी से बात करनी है, don't remove your mask. क्योंकि आपके घर में there are some older people, there are some children, kids, pregnant women. उनको सबसे ज़्यादा impact है. सबसे ज़्यादा. And during this time, मैंने अपनी पूरी जान लगा दी. मैं कभी इस तरीके से बैठने वाली नहीं हूँ. I always want to work. I always want to run. I always want to walk. I was active one.
Well, we're absolutely gutted to hear this video and very unfortunate to hear that Dimple Arora eventually succumbed to this deadly virus. She was 7 months pregnant. We're really hoping that this message is conveyed and all of you hear it well enough. Stay indoors, wear your mask. This is the time of need. You can't overburden the healthcare infrastructure or blame the government at this time. You've got to take responsibility yourself. Thank you very much, all of you, for watching this special.